We'll begin. So Eis Gimel. So after explaining, now it's from the Alter Rebbe, the story of the Isha Achas and the Rebbe's diak, which is coming in Eis Gimel, in a moment. But the Nekuda is that the Neshama, the Mata, laments its sorrowful state, and the Eibishter's Eitzer is that has to be the Merirus. Vayitzako is not enough. It has to be the Merirus that is a clear reikon, that is empty. As we explained yesterday, not that he is missing something. It's not that he's missing, the neshama is missing shleimus. And even though the neshama describes a very drastic yerida, but it seems it's still not the sense of his nothing without his connection to the Eibishter. And that, I guess we said in the marriage, when there's the sense of he is nothing, a clear reikon, completely incomplete, then it can be the Yisra Oibn HaCheshech. We explained yesterday, based on another Maimer, that the Yisra Oibn HaCheshech is that the love which now will follow is not a love that I love how you make me feel, but truly a love of you. In the deepest sense, we said there's two levels to that. We didn't elaborate, but there's two levels. The first level is the privilege to serve you. The deeper level is paradoxically even more selfish. It's we're one. Paradoxical because it's even more self. But the paradox is when it's self on that level, then you'll be completely selfless to that person, like you are for yourself. You're not selfless, you do anything for yourself. You're no hero or a martyr. It's not Mesiras Nefesh. It transcends Mesiras Nefesh. That's when there's recognition that we're mamash one. So there's no all the bargaining and all the cheshbonis become irrelevant. All the calculations, you did this, you didn't do that, and we keep score. It's us, no? You keep score of your own failures. And therefore, if you mess up, you don't keep score of hers either. So it's a pale selfless, but it comes from a very deep place of self within, because we're one. That's the Yisra Oibn HaCheshech. But the first step to get there is privilege. Not entitlement, but privilege to serve you. That's a huge shift. Intimacy, pashit na'alacha. I mean, if she rebels is one thing, but overall, the gather of intimacy is an obligation. So therefore, it's by invitation. It's by invitation, exclusively. Period, and end of story. You have to make her invite you. You should make her seduce her, as it were, that she wants to invite you, but it's her invitation. It's not an entitlement. That's the first step. The first step, privilege, and then that leads to the deeper, this atzmidige connection, which is a whole new level of the pale mamish selflessness. So then he said, this is the connection to the parsha, because l'cha'ira, this story is not so connected to the parsha. The second story of the Shunamis, where she's promised a child, and then it was very interesting how brackets here. She's promised a child, and then the child dies, and Elisha revives us. I had the connection to the parashas. Tell me, he says two biyurim. Well, the first part of the story is obvious because what? Vayera, parashas Vayera, no? That Sarah, no, the first part, that Sarah's promised a child. That's the first part. Now the second part is he gave two biurim. One, the kid was second. The first in brackets. The first biur was. You can look. You don't have to guess. The medrash. Kedis medrash. Ala pasuk vayas Avram mishte godel. David, you'd be much better off. I'm telling you. Just put it away. Mishte godel, no. Oig was there, the Gedolim of the generation was there. Oig said, I can squash this kid with my finger. What's this whole fuss that he made, the Mishta Avram, when Yitzchak was weaned? We explained, but that he meant...
Like the Avram's whole...
Yeah, the whole thing. The whole...
Will just
yeah, this is a nice guy, Avram. He's got a nice philosophy, but like everything else, it comes and goes. Nothing's going to last. And yet, it does. Yeah, so that's like Tchias HaMeisim there. Ike is claiming death. That's the inevitable end result of everyone, that everything dies. And no, forever. That's one thing. And then he said, as you said, what's the second beer? The second beer explaining the Parsha, the story of the Parsha and the Tchias HaMeisim of the Shunamis' son. Yeah, Keda. He was ready to die, and God said no. So there's a moment of death, and then kill. So all to say, what is he? What's this whole arichas for? Why are we going to this whole arichas to bring to a question? So the question, therefore, is
why the first part of
why are we reading the first part of the Haftarah? The second part, and if the reason is that the Torah, that we want to point out, no, that he said, I asked earlier, Bachlal, all these stories, why are they written? Because they're all heroes. Okay, it's a hero, but what's the connection to the Parsha? That's the question here. So he started to answer Nois Dalet. No, he didn't learn it yet. So the answer now is Nois Dalet. Binyan said, yeah, we're clear. What are we answering now? In light of the above, we'll understand, having explained the Isha Achas, the Pnimius, we'll understand the connection to the Parsha. So the Parsha begins, Hashem appears to Avram. Really, it doesn't belong here. Either the end of Lech Lecha should start Vayera, or the beginning of Vayera should be the end of Lech Lecha, because why does Hashem appear to him? The bris, and the bris is recorded when? The end of Parshas Lech Lecha. It's one Hemshech. Avsheba behemshech l'sei Parshas Lech Lecha. Shekiven shenimul Avram, since he was circumcised, lachein vayer elov lavakres hachela. Therefore Hashem appeared to him to visit the sick. And yet, that is a Parsha Chadasha. It's a new Parsha. Clearly, he's telling us it's a Inyan Chadash. But Pnimius, it's something new. It's a new Parsha. Why? The end of Parshas Lech Lecha we reach Nimel Avram v'Yishmael b'noi. Not just Avram, his whole household, Yishmael, v'chol anshi beisei nimeilu itoi, and they all were circumcised with him. And Yishmael was 13. So there's the equation there between Avram and even in Yishmael. And you know the famous medrash that Yishmael and Yitzchak were arguing. Who is more chaviv, who is more precious before God? And Yishmael says, me, because I circumcised at 13, and you were 18, you had no choice. No, actually, he says, I was 13, and Yitzchak counted, and I was 8 days. So the shayla is, but that's his point. That it is that his circumcision was in seichel. The whole covenant is based on seichel, and also, incidentally, medical benefits of circumcision. But it was a covenant with God born from Seichel, a connection to the Creator. Yitzchak, Dafka, the 8th day, Lamaylim is Seichel, higher than created the Blikvul. Same in now also. That's where the parshas are cut. Why? Because that's Yishmael. And who does Hashem come to visit? Him. Avram Dafke. Why? Because this is the Yid. Shezehu inyan v'niflin on Ivamach, that Moshe Rabbeinu requested from the Eibishter that we should be set apart as wondrous from the rest of the world. And we are. They cannot figure us out. So this is what V'hinei, now he elaborates in the Giloi Devayeda Havayu Giloi Naila B'Yesa. So this is a lofty revelation. What is it? Ki inyanoi levaker es ha'chayla. He came to visit the sick. What? It's interesting. He speaks about the Mata Tetzava, friends, right? The chayla b'gematria memtes. Chayla ches vav lamed is 49. So what's Avram's sickness? What's he pining for? Kivin shoyetzel Avram rak memtes sharibina. He had achieved through his own aveda all those rungs, the highest rung that can be reached through aveda sa'adam, which is 49 rungs. Which are the midah, 7 times 7. This is what's granted to created beings. They can draw down and connect to by dint of their own effort. As it says in the Gemara, 50 gates of wisdom were created in the world. And they're all given to Moshe minus one, which he achieved when? When did Moshe get the 50th gate? Har Nevoi.
When he passed away.
And his Istalkos. Nun Boy. 50th gate was then. Even though B'chalolas it happened in Matan Torah, but on a personal and relative level to Moshe Rabbeinu, it was by his Istalkos. And that's why Moshe Rabbeinu is still Oymid and Meshamish. We don't know where he died. Because Be'etzem, he didn't. Dafke because of the connection to Sharanun, that is forever. Okay, so here, that's what Avram is pining for. Ella, I'm missing here. The 50th level, a nivra, created being, cannot reach on his own. Ella Boire, only the creator, Bechinas Echad. He's the one that can grant that one gate. This is what we receive from above. It's a gift, but only comes after having reached the 49 levels. So it's a medical thing. And Avram does get this, and it's pre-Matan Torah. That Hashem reveals to himself to him to visit the sick. That this revelation, Ripa, as Avram, it healed his sickness. They tell us to see the second, the sicher of the Fabrengen. There's more detail there. That Fabrengen. That I know because the Rabbi speaks to there the fact that the person comes to, when he visits the sick, he takes away how much?
50th?
60th of the person. If the Eibishter comes, it's a complete healing. There's some cheshbon there, which means he got the Sharach HaMishim. I know that Avram no longer suffered from this illness. Avram then got the Sharanun. Now we're not done. So this is bequeathed to his children forever. That's all relative, Behelem, revealed. We all have it. Moishe, David Istalkos, totally scholars, but obviously he had it before as a Yid. Matan Torah was revealed. Comes day 50 after Sfiras Oimer, right? It's a Sharanun. So it's all relative. So Avram also gets, and he bequeaths it. Every one of us inherits. And not only do we get as bequeathed to us that which he achieved grasped through his avodah lagam ha'gilui d'vayera shenimshach l'mayla, the gift that he got of vayera elav havaya, he also bequeaths v'hain lefi sheyoresh mekabel hakoil. The inheritor inherits everything. So what's the shaykhs to what? To the haftarah. Now we're going to see. Omnam kol ze mitzad neshama, as we're saying, that's be'etzim, but the neshama has all of this. Aval haguf hariyamaylim v'master. The body conceals. So we have it, but it's in a very deep state of concealment. So now comes the haftarah, behemshech to the parsha. The parsha tells us, as the Rebbe explains it, you should know that every yid levakeres hachayla, every yid has the union of sharanun. So you finish reading the parsha and we say, but I don't feel this. So don't go to the Kiddush club, listen to the haftarah. You get the answer. Keep it there, missing going to a Kiddush club. Maybe that's a short route to the sharanun. What?
Rabbi, I hit the Sharon at the Kiddush Club also, just letting you know.
Just said that. Yeah, you reckon, eh?
Read the Haftarah at the Kiddush.
Yeah. Read after in the Kiddush club. Aval calls mitzadetzem on the shama. Aval again, aguf harimaylim, master. The goof conceals. Achalzen nema baftarah. We said the other day. We began this maamar, and I told you the history of the haftarah, the time of Gzeira, and why. So the shayla is, so the Gzeira is over. So don't read it. Why do we continue reading the haftarah and from the Chumash itself? Because the haftarah is higher than the Gzeira. That's because it comes from the Nevi'im. We explained that. So it's all consistent. The teretz comes in the haftarah. Simple words from the Rebbe, the Novi. The Novi. The Nosi. The Torah that's revealed through the Nosi, there's no Gzeira can nullify that. So what is you say after? I mean, okay. Achal zen and after the Visha Achas min shebnei anavim tzo akal Elisha. And Pasha the story. Who's she going to? Who's in Pasha the story? She's going to Elisha. She's going to the Nasi Adar. That's that. This whole beer of the Alter Rebbe was the Yechidus apparently. This he told someone in Yechidus that became later Maimon that he wrote and said. He said at least. Even when the neshama is in a body which conceals, and so great is the concealment that the neshama says, the Yid says, Avdecha ishi meis, my fire is dead. Hinigam still then declares the haftarah, Harehu isha achas. You're still the isha achas. Isha is neshama. Achas, one with the Eibush Ishi. Achas, v'yechedes, imavaya. You should know you're not disconnected. You feel that you are, but that's in the koiches hagluyim, in the manifested conscious koiches. But you're still married in the most deepest essential way. And that's why it bothers you. Why'd you come to seek help? There's nothing there. So walk away. It was good while it lasted. You're getting entangled with somebody else anyway, so go along. No. Crying out, what's stirring this? This deep essential, but I'm still a Yid, we're still connected, and that can't be severed. Every night the neshama cries with a bitter voice. Meaning she said, the matzav shalayla, it's night, take, indeed. Helen v'hester, and concealment, so you'd think that every person would give up. It's over. But the cry continued at the still small voice that refuses to be silenced. We just drown it out with all kinds of distractions. Some people can't stand silence. There has to be always something in the background. They're afraid. I don't know what they're afraid of, but they're afraid in that silence, that still small tzalkal will cry out, Eibishter, Gewalt. They know there's something very deep that is seeking something, and it's frightening. Or they don't want to face what the solution might be. So we drown it out with all kinds of distractions. Gotta be always something getting my attention. Which is why the phone has to be with me at all times. Loitov. Hainu. So I've became h'tשכ with tzar kazu pe'eles, and this is the cry that sets in motion the whole process. Asher ata b'nayich tichi b'noisa, that you, Hashem promises, you and your children will live with the prophet, meaning v'hainu sha'idei zeh, this very choshech and this very laila and this very distance. This itself is the fertile ground from whence will come nase yisrin, will become the great advantage, the great mila. Like it says in Zohar, this is the theme of the Basi Lagani Maime, Kadiskafia Sitrachra, Dafka through struggling with the Sitrachra, Istalik, Yikarda Kuchabricha, this causes a revelation of the glory of Hashem, Bechul Almi, in all of existence, all of the worlds, Kivin Sheyisin La'oyle, Mitech HaChoshech Dafka, because it's coming from a place of Choshech, and that draws on the Etzem, and that's a whole new love and a whole new connection, far beyond what the Neshama had L'mayla. Far beyond the heady dating days when we were in love or with self. And the Rebbe concludes fascinatingly with the same lashon of the Alter Rebbe. Kenya's interesting to hear that. Never heard such a lashon. Kenya's Aken Hashem, Kenya Ratzin Ami. Wow, it's a very good conclusion with such a powerful bracha. Okay, we're going to read to you the Teichen Advarim. And tomorrow we're going to start Basi Lagani, learning the 15th, yeah? The 15th Ois of the Fitik Rebbe. That's what these Mamarim are based on, Tavshin Chafei, which is what we're learning, and Tavshin Memhei, and there's a third Maimer. I have the Kontresim here. You're welcome to take them home already. We'll leave them here. We'll start tomorrow. Akaponim, let's look at Chaim is here. Let's look at the summary, the Teichen Yanim. I'll read it to you. He brings the explanation of the Alter Rebbe, explaining all the details of the story of the Haftarah after first prefacing the words of Rabbi Hillel, who explained with respect to the stories of Tanakh that not all the stories that happen are written. That's because these stories, the Nevi'im hinted in them great sodas and secrets and paths in Avodas Hashem. So the Alter Rebbe explains when you say interesting, the Rebbe quotes the Bill Parish, it's not Stam Inyan. So at any rate, so the Neshama is crying out on its distance from godliness, and the Eitzah is Klirekon, Merirus, embitteredness, and that brings to the Yisn and Simcha. And this will explain, that's it, that's all he does. Most of the summaries for the last eyes. And this will explain the Keshet at the beginning of the Haftarah with the beginning of the Parsha. The Eibush is coming, you fill in the blanks, friends. The Eibush is coming to Avram. Well, first of all, what's the Shaila that he asked? About the break of the Parsha.
Why the
Vayera should really
should
be.
be the end of
Vayera should be the end of Parshas Lech Lecha. What's the teretz? What's the teretz? Because that was to Yishmael.
A love.
Right. That was to Yishmael. That was a Mila that also is Apiseichel. It's not a Shar Hanun. It's all part of Avedis Hanivroyim. That's Yishmael. Came to the conclusion willingly at 13 that it's a good union and we should bond with the Creator. But here it's not the Creator. Shar Hanun is beyond this, the Eibishter. Beyond Creator. Vayera of Havaya. That's Dafka to V'niflin or Dafka the Yid. So that's showing. Now, what's he sick about? What did he say? What's the connection? What's the summary conclusion? What's he sick? No, zog, no. After the tzava. Guys, you're on the phone. How can we learn like this? It's distracting for me.
It doesn't have to
Not just
start
for you, it's distracting for me. Extremely.
Yes. Achieve the Shara.
Yeah, Chaylis begematria memtes. So he doesn't have the sharon. And the sharon memtes, that's Yishmael is shaykhis to even to sharon memtes. But that is creator. That's what the nivra, the created being, can access his creator. Trace back to his source. That's possible for every consequence, every result is traceable to the cause. But the Eibush is beyond cause of creation. To Sharanun. So what's he saying? I'm ready to get things in this parsha that Avram what? Avram merits a Sharanun. And what are you going to say? Not only that, he bequeaths it to every Yid. All of us. However, now the big however, then the connection to the parsha. What's the however? That's mitzad the neshama. It's completely behelim. After Cha'ishi Meis, Shar Hanun, I don't feel anything. I don't feel Shar Aleph in my Shar Hanun. I'm not excited about you in any way, shape, or form. Not creator, not beyond creator.
Still Isha Achas. You still one.
Yeah, but the after comes along and says, "As wissen sein Isha Achas," you're still connected. You're still connected. That can never change. And Adarabba, you're crying. That's the first step. The tzaka that leads to the merirus, and then finally the yisra na'emen ha'choshech. That the love that you had before the Milo now it's completely transformed. Because that was a selfish love, and this will become an atzmisdik, a selfless love, as we explained the two stages. First, privilege. So there's three things. Beginning when you're married, it's selfish. You're marrying her because she fits the bill. And then it has to, from the chuppah, has to begin the of privilege. And then even deeper, beyond privilege, we're one. It's not Mesiras Nefesh and a privilege to serve you. Then he's a whole hero and a knight in shining armor. Well, one. What's the discussion here? And these are nice words to say, but if that you really internalize it, it will transform your marriage. You won't get ticked off as often as you do over perceived slights and what have you. It's a completely different marriage, friends. Try it. All right. So that's the summary of the Maimon. So tomorrow, we'll tell the story now. And tomorrow, we're going to start, Be'ez Hashem, Basi Lagani, the whole world, the Mashpim already, Kochenzach, this WhatsApp groups already, and they've looked at it yet.
What happens if you're not being at the level of crying out? How do you get to that level?
So the fact that you're still in the marriage means that you're still, that's enough already. That's a starting point. I'm here, and I ain't going nowhere. So that's already a starting point, and that can then lead to the tzaka. You have to be misburdened on that.